Now that Marvel and DC are comfortable with doing crossovers again, I feel like it's time to discuss what crossovers should exist. This is just my opinion, and this is going to be a relatively quick video, so feel free to disagree with some of my choices. Number 1. Superman and the X-Men. We all know the story of Superman. His parents, in a desperate bid to save their son, send him to Earth to be raised by Ma and Pa Kent, who find him in a field in the middle of Kansas. He becomes Superman, the harbinger of hope, and the reason why I wanted him here with the X-Men comics is, in contrast, X-Men is quite cynical with the cyclic nature of comics. They're hated and feared by humanity, yet they fight for them anyways. And the X-Men are routinely hunted down with giant robots that gradually become more advanced to the point that these increasingly bizarre abominations become weapons of genocide. I feel like the X-Men totally offer a nice contrast to Clark. He's an alien who was accepted as humanity's protector, whereas the X-Men are from Earth, and they are seen as abominations who are going to replace humanity. Quick side note here, I hate the whole next step in evolution talk coming from the X-Men because it seemingly validates the great replacement paranoia. Not to mention, evolution doesn't have steps. Evolution isn't some kind of march towards godhood or anything like that. I feel like in terms of villains, we don't have a shortage of people who can give Clark a run for his money, especially Magneto. Magneto, probably the most iconic X-Men villain, can give Supes a lot of pain while playing up the whole monologuing game. I really want them to fight and talk. Supes would try to punch Magneto, Magneto would block because, hey, deal with a fundamental force of the universe like electromagnetism, and the two would have a nice conversation while they are trying to crush each other. If Magneto doesn't work, we sure have a lot of villains to go with, like, I don't know, Apocalypse. You know, the guy who keeps insisting he is a god versus Superman who refuses to believe himself to be some kind of great god. I mean, there's also Mr. Sinister, because you know he would want some Kryptonian blood for his sinister purposes. Number 2. The Super Sons meet the Power Pack, mostly because I think Damian's blood pressure would go through the roof. Okay, here's a serious reason. One, I want more Power Pack content, and two, I like the idea of Alex and Julie Power, the oldest of the Power siblings, dealing with Damian. The idea is that usually Alex and Julie are the most mature children in the room. Even when Franklin is around, they are still far more mature than him, even if Franklin's an angsty teenager now. So, when dealing with Damian, this adds a new dynamic. See, conflict within the Power Pack usually stays within the Power Pack because, well, they don't have much of a supporting cast in terms of just outsiders who know their secret identities and can just deal with sibling issues or just let off steam on that outsider. With Damian, the conflict suddenly becomes very much external. Damian is an assassin. Even though he's been gradually declawed by Batman, he's still Damian Wayne. And that creates a lot of issues that can easily be a nice dynamic. Number 3. Spider-Man meets Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. Peter and Kyle were struggling to make a living while balancing life. In Peter's case, I think he still is. While I think traditional rogues galleries for Green Lanterns may be a bit too powerful for Peter, I feel like that can work. I mean, more recently, Ultron of all people in Marvel Rivals breaks his stoic demeanor when dealing with Spider-Man because he hates Spider-Man for one reason. Peter doesn't shut up. I can imagine Peter annoying the daylights out of Sinestro of all people. Number 4. The Punisher faces the Suicide Squad. It's a very simple premise. Frank Castle is a douchebag who fights and kills other douchebags. Meanwhile, the Suicide Squad is full of villains who are on Amanda Waller's payroll, and of course Amanda Waller will blow them up if they defy her. I can see them getting entangled in the same location. The Punisher, for some reason, wants to kill someone, and the Suicide Squad also wants to kill that person, and, well, they get into a bit of a scuffle. Or we could do something akin to The Most Dangerous Game, where Frank, for whatever reason, is being hunted by the Suicide Squad and has to outwit them. Number 5. DC's League of Super Pets meet the Pet Avengers. See, DC animals tend to lean on the more normal Earth animal bits. We have Ace the Bat Hound, Crypto the Super Dog, Streaky the Super Cat, the Bat Cow. I'd have no idea if Bat Cow has a name, but I'm just going to call her the Bat Cow. Detective Chimp. Marvel also does this, but there's more fantastical creatures in it. Like, I don't know, a dragon, and then a T-Rex, and then a frog with the power of Thor. This is a very natural crossover. Number 6. The Dark Knights of the Multiverse facing off against the Spider Society. See, the 2010s were obsessed with alternate versions of the same character doing a massive crossover. We had Spider-Verse, Venomverse. We probably had a million more Crisis of Infinite whatevers. Yes, I know the 90s cartoon did this first, but this was the one that inspired it all. At least, the one that inspired a movie that made a lot of money that every single kid knows. What kid nowadays knows about the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, but everyone else knows about Miles Morales? So anyways, why not pit them against the Dark Knights of the Dark Multiverse? Go up against the Spider Society. Not like there's a web of life and destiny that can simply be altered, and the Dark Knights would totally want to get their hands on that. Is this self-indulgent? Yes. Is this super self-indulgent? Hell yes. But is the self-indulgent nonsense I live for? Number 7. The New Gods meet the Fantastic Four. See, this is mostly an aesthetic choice for me. Galactus was created by Lee and Kirby. When Kirby left Marvel for DC, he created the New Gods, using the similar aesthetic philosophy because artists have their own style. I like the idea of Darkseid going up against the Fantastic Four. This is the same team that menaced Galactus with the Ultimate Nullifier after stealing said Ultimate Nullifier from Galactus. Heaven knows what Reed Richards with a mother box would do. I do not want to see the chaos that would happen with that. At least if I was Darkseid. Then again, Darkseid seems to be a bit busy being a living universe now, so I'm not sure how this works. Number 8. Ultron and Amazo. I think the conflict would be interesting. Ultron is a robot with a human mind, while Amazo, depending on the build of him at least, is a robot, but he has a human appearance, human-ish appearance, but a generally completely robotic mind. The Sentinels might fit Amazo better, but Ultron seems more fun. Number 9. The Ghost Rider versus the Spectre. So one is the murderous spirit of vengeance from hell who rides a motorcycle, and the other is a traditional ghost who appears and curses you. I can see these two arguing over who gets to rip apart a perp, since the Spectre tends to use irony while the Ghost Rider uses hellfire and just simply ripping someone apart. Number 10. The Rogues from The Flash against Paul. Initially, I wanted to use Jay Nakamura because Jay Nakamura and Paul are both love interests and are very controversial ones, but the controversy with Jay Nakamura is that he is boring as paint. And I am inclined to agree. He is boring as paint. However, the Rogues killing Paul in various horrific ways is too good of an opportunity to pass up. That's the end of this video. Those are just my thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.